What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. We've got some Seattle Seahawks news today. And while in practice, this just amounts to some practice squad shuffling, just bringing on a couple guys, letting go of a guy, and it's not exactly the most impactful thing in the world. This could actually end up turning into something meaningful at some point this season because honestly, the guy that we got on the practice squad today, the main guy, is someone who I think you could reasonably expect will play for the Seahawks at some point this year because he has a track record of playing in the NFL so far in his career. This is a former second round pick. This is a former fairly notable player for the Baltimore Ravens. And overall, I think you look at what we got and you say that's probably going to matter at some point this season. So let's take a look. The Seahawks signed two players to their practice squad today. And one of them, the main one we're going to focus on in this video, is Tyus Bowser. Tyus Bowser, a veteran outside linebacker slash edge rusher slash defensive end who has spent his career so far with the Baltimore Ravens. So you can pretty easily draw the line there, right? You can easily draw the line from Tyus Bowser to our new head coach, Mike Macdonald in Baltimore. So that's the big one. We also signed a cornerback, Fionn Hicks. That one's not quite so intriguing because he hasn't really played very much NFL football yet. But Tyus Bowser definitely deserves a little bit of a mention here. So this guy, like I said, was a second round pick of the Ravens back in 2017. So they thought a lot of him when they drafted him. Got off to a little bit of a slow start, but had some pretty good years in Baltimore. 2019, 5 sacks. 2021 had 7 sacks, almost 60 tackles as well. And that was, to date, his best season. It's a 17-game season for a pretty good Baltimore team. 59 tackles. According to PFR, he had 26 QB pressures. I think PFF gave him like 40. So he was an impactful, meaningful part of that Ravens defense for a couple of years there. And admittedly, that was mostly under Martindale, right? Because McDonald took over the defensive coordinator role in Baltimore in 2022. Bowser didn't play very much that year. He had 2 sacks. He played 9 games, only started 4 of them after starting all 17 in 2021. So very much a reduced role. And then last year, he did not play at all. Um, Now, in fairness, that was because of injury stuff. It's not like McDonald looked at Bowser and said, "I don't like you. I'm not going to play you." It was he got hurt, and then there was a setback, and things just kind of fell apart for him. But you go to PFF real quick here. You go back to his big season, which was 2021, graded out well, especially when it came to pass rushing. You take a look at his usage on PFF, and for the most part, he was an edge rusher. For the most part, he does line up in that outside linebacker role along the defensive line. Decent number of snaps playing in the box, though, so there is a little bit of an inside backer here as well. There's that flexibility that this team really seems to value. We have a lot of players that are here in part because of their flexibility right now. A player like, a Leonard Williams playing 6 different positions all across this defensive front. Got guys like Mike Morris who are going to be playing multiple roles on this defensive front. So Tyus Bowser brings a little bit of that as well, which is probably going to help his case here. Now again, 2022, his most recent season where he actually played, not graded out particularly well. He did play 300 snaps or so, so it's not like he had no opportunity to prove himself. Granted, he did miss about half the games that season, so it's not all great, but there was an opportunity here for him to do a little bit more than he did. So I'm not expecting that we're getting the Tyus Bowser from 2021, but we are getting a player who has some NFL veteran experience and has done things in his NFL career that are notable. And you look at this, and I think you can very reasonably conclude that, yeah, this is a guy who's probably going to get on the field for the Baltimore Ravens at some point. I'm sorry, the Seattle Seahawks. Freudian slip. Hopefully, we can be like the Ravens have been the last few years, I guess. um, some point this season, because that's just kind of the expectation you would have for a player of this caliber. Now, real quick, Fionn Hicks, seventh round pick of the Denver Broncos a couple of years ago, has never played on defense or, I guess, offense in the NFL. He's played in 2 games in his career in 2022 for the Broncos. All of the snaps that he played were on special teams. Has never played a snap on defense in his career. So this is probably just kind of a filler pickup while we're waiting on Artie Burns to maybe get back. But the interesting thing here, I guess, is more so the fact that the Seahawks have filled their practice squad now, and they still do not have a quarterback. They actually had to release a player to make room for Fionn Hicks here, and according to Brady Henderson here in this tweet, they released a Garret Greenfield, which that would be a loss that would kind of make me sad because I like Greenfield, but to no QB. I don't think that will hold. I think that at some point in the near future, we will pick up a quarterback. But as of right now, we're going QB-less on the practice squad, which, I mean, it's not the end of the world for sure. At the end of the day, if you get down to a third quarterback on your roster, you're probably already in big, big trouble. But right now, we have 2 quarterbacks on the active roster and no other quarterbacks on any level. So if worst comes to worst, you're looking at probably Michael Dixon playing quarterback, which would be fun, but it also would result in no wins probably. So I think we'd all be a little bit happier if we could get a quarterback on the practice squad somehow. So other than that, we also got a little bit of an update on Jack Westover earlier today. He has been waived from IR with an injury settlement. So my understanding is that, first of all, that implies that we're not going to be paying him as much money as I initially thought, but he is going to not be on the team for now, and he is potentially going to get picked up by another team. It's possible. So Westover, I thought he was going to be kind of part of the future plans here because of the Ryan Grubb connection, but he didn't do much in camp or preseason, and now he could, although I doubt it, he could get picked up, and it just kind of seems like we're moving on from him. Also worth noting today, real quick, Nick Bellore has found a home. Former Seahawk Pro Bowler and special teams captain Nick Bellore has found a home with the Washington Commanders. So, Nick Bellore, beloved former Seahawk, a guy that we did need to move off of, I think, a guy who we did need to turn the page on, has found a home in Washington with Bobby Wagner and Dan Quinn. But, yeah, I think we all kind of knew we were not bringing Nick Bellore back, so this shouldn't surprise anybody. But he has found another job in the NFL, so good for Nick. All right, that's it for this video. I will see you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think.